Hello and welcome to my channel Close to the Edge. My name is Pat, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and maybe even a stick of rock. Stick around, you never know. Stick around. Today I'm going to pose a question. Is this album, Come Taste the Band by Deep Purple, an underrated gem? And is it? Released on the 7th of November 1975 and recorded in Germany between August and September 75 in Musicland Studios, where they had a few issues, especially with drug abuse at the time by Glenn Hughes, and to a lesser extent Tommy Bolin at that time. But anyway, let's dig into this and see what we think of it. It kicks off with the first track, Coming Home, and this is an excellent rocking track, really excellent rocking track. Tommy Bolin actually did the vocals on this because Glenn Hughes is not on this track at all. He was after checking into rehab in London when they recorded this track, so Tommy Bolin plays the bass on it, and he does a little bit of backing vocals in that one, Coming Home, that one. And I think this is an excellent way to start off the album. Real rocker, different, but an excellent, brilliant track. Second track, Lady Luck. This track was written by Jeff Cook, who was a friend of Tommy Bolin, and he brought this track to Deep Purple because I think Tommy has played this live, and they have a cover that wrote different lyrics for us, and I think it's an excellent track. It really is a brilliant kind of rocker, funky track. It's just brilliant. It's a lovely track. Third track is Getting Tighter, where Glenn Hughes sings the vocals on it. And it was written with Tommy Bolin. And it's a real kind of rocker, because I remember reading that Tommy Bolin came up with the guitar lick on that, and he said they'd love this. And it's a real rocker, you know what I mean? And brilliant vocals by Glenn Hughes, absolutely brilliant. That's the third track anyway. The fourth track is Dealer. Track cover, they wrote the lyrics about Glenn Hughes' addiction and trying to get him off it and keep him away from drugs. And even at the time, the roadies from Deep Purple used to actually try and stop drugs getting into the studio. They used to even beat up the drug dealers, but still got him in. They got him in any way, shape and form. But that's what that track Dealer is, and you have a little vocal part in that from Tommy Bolin again. Now, Glenn Hughes put down all the bass lines on that, but he wasn't there for the vocals part. And the last track on the first side of the LP is I Need Love. It's kind of a typical David Coverdale lyrics, about sex and all that kind of stuff. And it's funky though. You hear the bassy, funky, it's funk rock really. I love it. I think it's a brilliant way to close the first side. Absolutely brilliant. That's the first side anyway, which I think is brilliant. And before I go on to the second side, I'd just like to thank all my new subscribers, returning subscribers, for excellent comments and supporting this channel. Really is helping me out an awful lot. And when I have Kevin on, we do even better on the videos. And Kevin will be back again very, very soon with another video. And if you're new to this channel and you like what you see, please do subscribe. Of course, if you don't like it, you won't subscribe. Like it and hit the notification bell for future videos coming up from me. I do, on average, 2 a week at this moment in time. But anyway, let's get back to this. Second side starts off with Drifter. And I think this is a very proggy track, actually, Drifter. It's a really, really proggy track. And the guitar work on it from Tommy Bolin is absolutely superb. And the drumming from Mean Pace is absolutely amazing. It's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant track. Then we have Love Child. This riff on the riff during the chorus of this track actually was, I think, taken from a track that the James Gang did that Tommy Bolin was in. and that's where he got the riff from this. And it's a great track, not the best on the album by any stretch, but a great track. And then you go into the two-part track, the third track, which is This Time Around and O to G. Now, the interesting thing about This Time Around is John Lord and Glenn Hughes were up late at night and they were jamming, and they came up with this track, which I think is absolutely brilliant. It's a beautiful, and the piano on it is absolutely fantastic from John Lord, brilliant keyboardist that he is, and the vocals from Glenn, superb. Even though he was having issues at the time with drugs, as I said earlier, it's a brilliant track. And then it goes into the instrumental track that Tommy Bolin wrote, O to G. Doom, 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 doom. And it is a bit proggy, isn't it? I think it is, being a prog head. It is proggy. It's a brilliant instrumental. Brilliant playing on it. You must remember where Tommy Bolin came. He was playing jazz fusion. And he's coming into a kind of a straight rock band. So he's going to bring kind of elements of that into the band. And this has those elements. And it's a brilliant track. It is. It's amazing. And then we come on to the last track. You Keep On Moving. Where you know the way it starts? Boom, 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 boom. And then it builds to a crescendo with absolutely brilliant guitar work by Tommy Bolin. I know he didn't write the track. This track was written by Hughes and Coverdale. I think they wrote this track in 1974. And it's an absolutely brilliant track. And it's the only track on the album, which is strange enough, that Coverdale and Hughes sing together, like they used to do on Burn and Stormbringer, because Hughes wasn't there, you see, a lot of the time for the vocals, because, as I said, he was in a rehab in London. And that's the only track that they did that on. And some people say that that's the best track on the album. It's probably, with me, one of the best. That and Drifter, for me, would be the two best tracks on the album. And what a way to close. What a way to close the album. But anyway, after that album was released, and they went on tour. But before it was released, I think Tommy Bolin recorded a solo album, Teaser, and I think John Lord recorded Saraband, which I have, which is a brilliant album. And then they went on tour, and the tour was up and down. You know that album, Last Concert in Japan, that they brought out, should never have been brought out, in my opinion, where Tommy Bolin was compromised. He slept on his arm all night because he was a heroin addict, and was numb, and he could only use 2 fingers up and down. He could only play basic chords on it, and he couldn't really play it. So, and they had I think they had a disaster out in Indonesia as well during the live. I think someone actually died actually at the concert. So it was really hit and miss, really. And I got to the stage in the end. I think their last concert was, where was the last concert? In Liverpool. And after they had a great gig, and I think Glenn Hughes went out after to apologise, you know, that they weren't great. And John Lord and Ian Pace decided, that's it, we're finished. We're absolutely finished. And David Coverdale came into him a while later, kind of crying, saying that he had enough. I'm leaving Deep Purple. And they said, there is no Deep Purple. It's gone. And that was basically it. Sad in many respects, the way it ended. And of course, later that year then, in 1976, Tommy Bolin died of an overdose, heroin and whatever. He was only 25 years of age. What a talent. What a brilliant guitarist. For so young, that's all he was, 25 years of age. And it is sad in many respects, because only for the drugs, who knows, they might have brought out another album after Come Taste the Band, and another one, because it was really funk rock, really, basically. And I think they kind of were at the forefront of that. Yeah, there's heavy rock in there as well, but it's different, different. Now, a lot of people say it's not a Deep Purple album. Well, it is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a Deep Purple album. And I actually rate this album higher than Stormbringer, Burn, and Who Do We Think We Are. Just a little bit higher. I give this album a 10 out of 10. I think it's an absolutely superb album. Pure class, and it stood the test of time. Doesn't sound dated. So what do you think? Would you think that this album is an underrated gem, or do you think it's not a good Deep Purple album at all, or what is your thoughts? Be interesting to read the comments on this, because I'm very interested. Because as you know, Deep Purple are my favourite band, even though I'm into prog rock immensely. They've always have been. It's just I have a soft spot for them, and it's Deep Purple from the 70s now I'm speaking about. I'm talking about the 80s and 90s and onwards. Not particularly interested in too much of that, but the 70s, and it's sad the way it ended. Sad, of course. David Coverdale went on to form Whitesnake, Payson Lord joined him, you know. Of course, Deep Purple reformed then in '84 with Perfect Strangers, and the rest is history, as they say. But anyway, that's my take. I think it is an underrated gem. I think it's a 10 out of 10 album, and basically that's it. And I'm going to leave it there now. And so, whatever you're doing, stay safe. And it's always nice to be nice. Very, very important, nice to be nice. As my good friend Stan always says, music has the ability to make you remember and to forget. I think that's brilliant. Brilliant. But anyway, from me, Pat, here on Close to the Edge, until my next video, I'll see you all very soon now. And so from me, Pat, bye-bye.